Still an accent, still on stress. How do you pronounce words that end in shun or jen? Whether it's a tion or words that end in sion. The primary focus in this class is to explain the rule to reply when you have to stress words that end in shun or jen. Whether you're a student preparing to write exams or just a random speaker wanting to improve the way that you communicate, this class is one you don't have to miss. Without any ado, let's get to the class. So, how do you pronounce words that end in tion or sion? No matter how long the word is, all you have to do is to identify the penultimate syllable of the word or in the word, because the rule says your stress will always and always fall on the penultimate syllable. So when you have a word that ends in tion or sion, please remember your stress, your voice should be raised when you get to the syllable before the final one. Remember, as I said in the introductory video, that the word penultimate simply means the syllable before the last one or the second syllable from the end of the word. All you have to do is to break the word into its syllables and then go start from the end of the word. The last syllable with the tion is not always stressed. It is the syllable before the final tion or sion that you stress. So let's use these words to explain this rule. The first word is, let's look at this word. Okay, under interdenomination. Okay, this word. Now we have distractions in this word. Yeah, there are distractions. Syllables that are distractive. Remember, this is the syllable with the tion. I mean, this is the syllable with ion, right? And I did say that when the word ends in tion, the tion syllable does not carry the stress. Rather, you go to the syllable before the tion, or you simply say the syllable, the second syllable from the end of the word. So let's break this word into syllables. On, there, under, in, ter, d, no, me, nation. Right. How many syllables do we have in this word? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 syllables in this word. And according to the rule of stressing, you go to the end of the word and you start counting. So what's the last syllable in this word? The last syllable is this. So this is, from the end, this is 1. And I did say is the second syllable from the end of the word. That's the penultimate syllable. So 1, 2. This is where your answer is. This is the syllable to be stressed. So this is how to pronounce this word. Under, rain, ter, d, no, me, nation, nation. Under interdenomination, That is how to pronounce this word in terms of stress. But if you want to transcribe, you simply say under interdenomination. So the stress comes here on the name. Right. I did say in the second video, the second introductory video, that you don't stress prefixes, you don't stress suffixes. Right. If you look at this word, the primary word in this word is nation. Nation is a real word. Nation. Right. Every other thing that comes before nation here is a prefix. Right. So you have to cancel out the prefixes. This makes no sense because prefixes don't matter in the determination of stress placement. Under is a prefix, in is a prefix, ter is a prefix. Now, denomination is another root word on its own, denomination. But if you don't want to consider denomination in this case, let's say nation is a root word we want to talk about. Now, nation is a primary word. Nation is a meaningful word. It's the core of the word. Nation, nation. So if nation is a primary word, then D is a prefix. No is a prefix. Me is a prefix. Remember, the prefixes are groups of letters that you add to a word at the beginning, right? To change whether the word class or the meaning of the word. If nation is therefore the primary word in this case, then all of these things, all of these prefixes, all of the syllables are distractions to the determination of stress. So this is going to be the main word, the root word, nation. And in the case of nation, we have two syllables, nation or nation. In the third video that we considered, we talked about placement of stress on disyllabic words. I did say in that video that when you have a two-syllabic nominal word, two-syllabic noun word, your stress falls on the first syllable. So nation is a noun. A nation is a place, right? So being a noun with two syllables, the stress goes on the first syllable, nation. That's why the stress there. So you can see that the rules are intertwined. They're interwoven. The all slim, they glide into the other. So that is that about the first example. Let's take one more example before we call it a wrap. Let's look at democratization. Democratization. Where would the stress be now? Will it be on there? Will it be on mel? Will it be on crab? Will it be on tie? Will it be on they? Will it be on shun? What would the stress be? Yes, you're right. Is on they. So we have democratization. So that's basically it about this rule. So whether you're looking to write exams, I'm talking to exam candidates now, or you're a random speaker of the English language and you want to master how to stress, one of the rules to apply is what we just looked at. Words that end in ION, whether it's SION, as in comprehension, here, right? The stress will always be on pension. So that is it about that. The rule is pretty straightforward. Your stress falls on the syllable before the last syllable. The syllable before the shun or jen, as in, let's say, division. Right? Vision. The stress falls here. So you have division. The stress is here. So that is that about this rule. I hope you've learned the appropriate way to stress words that end in shun or jen. If you found this video interesting, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this content, and share it to as many people who may need it. Remember to keep learning right and keep speaking right. See you next time.